You guys want to go to the Grizz Mason Burl Island Day Rave?
Is that today?
Yeah.
What is the Grizz?
Welcome to $2 Steak, a pro wrestling podcast. I'm your host, Aaron Varnam. Joining me today, as always, Cookie.
I'm here.
Big Mike.
Yes, sir.
And fully vaccinated, but also quarantining because he went to a super spreader event on Wednesday.
My life is a super spreader event.
What does that mean?
I don't know. I just
He works at a bar.
Tolbert.
Full of fucking
Yay.
Tolbert, this week, you and I went to AEW, and that is going to be the subject of this week's episode. Tolbert, before we talk about any of that, let's go ahead and get life events out of the way. Tolbert, who's Grizz?
I don't know. Well, I didn't know. And I like to think I'm well versed in the EDM universe. So I listened to a little bit of it, but I guess a little bit. I guess I'm out of the loop though. But Grizz is a EDM sensation apparently.
Sensation.
He dabbles in the saxophone.
And
apparently he is a pretty stand-up guy and tries to promote good vibes and good things within the EDM, whatever you want to call it, crowd.
Cookie is nodding his head. Cookie,
yeah, apparently he's a pretty stand-up guy.
Oh, sorry, Aaron. Say that one more time.
Cookie, is this kind of your understanding of Grizz?
Absolutely. He's a good guy. He puts out good vibes. And that man, he doesn't play the saxophone, Aaron. He makes love to the saxophone.
Oh,
he makes love to it.
He fucks that saxophone.
Like he sticks it. Which end does he put it in?
Both ends, Aaron. At the end of the show, he puts it in the big end.
But yes, he played 3-night set, or technically a 3-night set here in Wilmington, the new amphitheater. So he did Friday night and apparently tore the house down. Last night, the show got rained out apparently, and they cut halfway through. So, and apparently he's doing some kind of secret set on Mason Burl Island today, which if you aren't familiar, it's a barrier island right near us that is only accessible by boat. And somehow he's doing a show out there today, a beach day rave.
Tolbert, is it a secret set if you and I both knew about it before?
No, no. But I think we're just locals. We just know these things. But a lot of other people knew about it too. I just hope no one dies on Mason Burl Island today. but a good crowd. I liked them a lot better than the widespread crowd. Younger crowd. Lots of titties and butt cheeks.
Yeah, I did not understand. I have seen many pictures of people at Grizz concerts wearing very skimpy clothing.
Almost next to nothing, yeah. And this is guys and girls. It's not just the gals, it's the guys too, man. Lots of bare chests, lots of weed leaf print shirts. I even saw some guy with a Pokemon print crushed velvet shirt. It was pretty amazing. I saw a lot of power shirts last night, but also saw a lot of bikinis and capes and feathers and lights and a lot of glitter and butt cheeks.
All right.
Well, good crowd, good people, man. They kept the house rocking all night.
Did you guys get a big push after the concert was canceled? Did you have a bunch of these people come in?
Oh yeah, definitely, man. They're hanging out all night, dude. Blasting the jukebox, having a good time. But they're on the appropriate amount of drugs. See, these kids, they know how to measure out their drugs. So they're tripping balls, but they're tripping balls responsibly.
I would think it's because they do these drugs more frequently.
That's exactly my thought. Was they're not like
probably
once a year people.
Yeah. I'm just taking it this weekend when I go see Widespread Panic. No, I'm doing this regularly. Therefore, I know my tolerance.
I heard so many conversations off to the side about calculating doses and times, take the doses, and make sure you drink water, bro, and all that.
And these kids, they're well versed in Common Core math. So they are they're able to figure out these things in their head. Unlike us, not raised with Common Core. Cookie, were you raised with the Common Core math principles?
I believe so, Aaron. Yes, sir.
Really?
Yeah.
There's
There's something,
Molly. He knows how much Molly to take, essentially.
Aaron. My father used to get down. He taught me.
What does that mean, Cookie?
He grew up in the 70s. Let's be honest here.
Well,
70s were a wild time.
they were.
So he taught me.
He taught
I know about it.
A one Cookie.
Let me explain something to you, son.
Cookie, how was your week?
It was good. It was I got a job.
Nice. Where is it?
It's a work study program within the school. I'll be a director's assistant underneath my program director.
Does he like? Have you interacted with this program director?
Yeah, he's taken a liking to me, and he said, "Listen, we want to bring you on," and he's excited.
Better not get behind closed doors, Cookie. It sounds a little aggressive.
Oh God! Wow, I didn't think about what I just said. It's too late to take it back now. I hope he doesn't.
Cookie's getting groomed.
Yeah.
Yep. No
He's
shit.
getting mind fucked by the sports psychologist.
I'm a little old to be groomed, aren't I?
No, you're never too old.
Cookie, did you go back to rugby practice?
Not this week.
Of
Not
course
this
you
week.
didn't.
Oh well, Aaron, I'm still a fat boy, and then practicing sevens. I think you can understand that.
I've been going every week. I've been going. I went twice this week.
Mike, I think you would understand. I hope you understand where I'm coming from.
I'm in shape, and I don't mind practicing sevens, but I've also been off for 2 weeks.
You should talk to Tolbert. Tolbert hasn't been to practice.
Tolbert. Okay, Tolbert, you are my man. Let's talk about this.
I've just been mowing grass, dog.
See, yep, exactly.
Smoking grass and smoking grass.
In fact, this week on Thursday, Tolbert started mowing grass at 5:30 when practice started at 6.
Hey, if y'all wanted grass mowed, that was the only time to do it.
We had to play half field with 14 people. It was fine. It ended up being better for me. I appreciated the late mowing. Cookie, any other things? What's going down in Denver this week? Anything crazy?
Nothing special going down really this week, man. Got a friend in town. One of Chase's friends in town. Other than that,
got friends?
Yeah.
Is it a same breed or what kind of
Same
friend?
breed, Delaware folks. My skin color though, so we're good.
Okay.
Yeah, we're all right.
Mike, it is your turn now. It is also a big step in your life. 11 years married. Happy anniversary, Mike.
So we got back from vacation on Friday. Had an awesome time in Maine. We'll talk about my efforts and abilities to watch the AEW Dynamite show while in Rangeley, Maine. And then, got back, relaxed Friday. Went out Saturday with the wife to celebrate 11 years of marriage. Checked out. I've lived here a long time. I've never been to Fortunate Glass or Second Glass. So we went to Second Glass, got some appies, went over to Block Taco, got some tacos. It's a good time.
Where is Fortunate Glass?
Fortunate's downtown. Second Glasses.
Are they the same thing?
No, completely unrelated businesses.
Oh, really? I thought they were like owned by the same person.
No.
All right. Well, yeah, I've never been to either, so we decided on Second Glass.
And that's the one near me.
Yes.
Okay. And the food was good?
Food was excellent. Yeah, I got some kind of she crab soup. We got some focaccia, whatever the fuck that's called, and some like raw sea bass.
Raw?
Yeah, it was like sushi sea bass kind of, I don't know, with like citrus and jalapenos and sweet corn.
Ceviche.
It wasn't called ceviche. It was called crude.
It's called raw bass, man.
I was like, man, this fish raw. Looks like good though, so I'll eat it.
That'll be $32.
Yeah, that was about right.
How was the rest of your journey in Maine?
Maine was awesome, man. The weather wasn't as nice as previous trips, but we were still able to kind of get some stuff done. Saw a moose for the first time after we've gone a couple times. Never saw a moose. Got to see one. Tiny. It was a bull moose, but it was like a young bull moose. His antlers weren't as.
Don't be throwing the word bull around on this podcast. Cookie's getting hard over in Denver.
Calm down.
It
Tranquilo.
was good. It was good to see family and kind of relax and just get to enjoy something that not everybody gets to do. So,
Cookie, when's the last time you've been to Maine?
Never.
Okay.
Cookie, I saw one black person when I was in Rangeley, Maine.
That's sad.
But
I have a question.
Where did you see this black person?
He was riding his bike with his buddies. It looks like he was in a biker gang. He was like pedal bike. He rode some sick wheelies though around the basketball court.
All right. Are the basketball courts much more boring in Rangeley, Maine?
Yeah. I only ever saw one game of pickup, and I'm pretty sure they just leave the basketball at the court because
nobody takes it.
I went to the park a couple times when we were in town, and multiple times nobody on the basketball court, but the same basketball is just sitting there by the hoop.
They just have the one ball.
Yes, the whole town's got one ball.
That's sad. Why even have a court at that point?
I will say we went bowling one night, and this is the nicest bowling alley I've ever been to. But when you think about it, people in Maine, they only have 4 nice months of weather. So what the fuck else are you going to do besides go to the bowling alley? But this bowling alley had like a recessed sound stage. It had like a lounge area, a coffee shop, pool tables, bowling alley. It had everything. It was pretty cool.
How far is Rangeley from like the major cities?
So Rangeley's in western Maine in the mountains, whereas all the other major cities are pretty much on the coast. I would say probably 2.5 hours from like Portland and stuff like that. It's not longer.
Is Rangeley one of the larger cities in Maine?
No, it's a tiny little city. I think it's like 600 full-time residents and like 2,500 swells when vacationers and people come in.
How did the Maurers get a cabin in Rangeley?
So back in like the 1800s, my family was kind of upper middle class, and the one guy was like a map maker, cartographer, surveyor thing, and he got paid to go out there and make a map of the region. And so he surveyed the area, picked the best property on the lake, bought it, started building a cabin. I think the first cabin was up in like 1880s. And then they finished the main part of the cabin in the 1900s. And that's been in the family ever since.
I imagine a guy looking just like Mike, just like walking through surveying.
He's got a baby that struts in there.
He's got a hammer in the other hand.
No, so I mean, it's interesting, like historically, because while you're there, you try to do big projects. So we re-roofed the boathouse. We had this tiny little wooden boathouse, and we were putting these new wood pieces on there. And, some of the horizontal braces are rotted. So we got to replace those. But you got to replace them with 2x4s, but not like new 2x4s, but actual legitimate oak 2x4s from like 1920. And so we only have so many of that kind of thing around the property that have been torn apart from other projects. So we kind of we were cutting it short in terms of being able, because you can't just stack new shit because then would throw all the stuff off. So it's just fun. I brought home a couple square nails because you don't really find those anymore. It's just interesting.
I don't know if it's interesting or not.
Sure. Sure it is.
$2 steak losing its momentum going into the main subject.
Howard Varnam would appreciate it.
Yeah, but I am a different human being than my
y'all should talk more about them square nails, man. No one ever talks about them.
And those are actually 2x4s. Like you actually measured it out.
Well,
sorry, my life is boring, Aaron. Fuck you.
It's been a good run, guys.
It's been a good run. I can't even think of like a $2 pun for this one.
I was thinking about it too. I was like,
I really nailed that one, Mike.
Hey, honestly, I don't give a fuck because it was relaxing.
A relaxing week. Mike has come back. He's so happy. But I will tell you, on Wednesday night, this man had the most FOMO of any person I've ever met, and we will talk about that right now as we talk about AEW Dynamite from this week. All right, so this week we went on a journey, a trip, a brocation, if you will. Tolbert and I, along with one Travis, and also Byron McSweeney, who is a big fan of the podcast, also a big wrestling fan and a friend of us, the only fan of the podcast, a good friend of ours. We went on a journey. We went to AEW Charlotte this past week, which was what? Fight for the Fallen? Is that what this one is?
Yes.
Tolbert, take it away. Tell us about the early stages of this journey, and I will help add to it.
So it was great. We convened at Aaron's house, had some biscuits, hit the road, and we had a good crew. I put Aaron in control of the aux cable, and he kept us in tunes, funky jams the whole ride. But we get there, check in, kind of get our bearings about us. We had a cool little Airbnb right in the middle of all the bars and stuff. So we hang out, we drink some delicious Mad Mole beer. Byron brought a shitload of beer, like a ton of it. So we get to Charlotte. We were like, hey, let's go tailgate a little bit. So we tailgate the Bojangles parking lot. It's exciting. It's electric. There's all kinds of AEW fans there of all shapes and sizes. A lot of CGW fans there as well. I was kind of scared of those guys.
Also, not a lot of shapes and sizes. They were mostly large, extra large, and double XL.
Yeah, we were large and in charge. But
what did your tailgate setup look like?
It was terrible, Mike. You
would have been ashamed. We did steal your tent, but we didn't use it. But we had the back hatch of my Subaru open, and we were sitting on the bumper.
Cookie, why is that so funny to you?
Aaron, because I feel like you guys should be professionals at this age, and you're sitting out here without a tent on the back of a tailgate. Is that what you're saying?
They had a tent, they just didn't put it up.
Yeah, we didn't put it up.
Yo, you're sorry. You had the tent, you didn't put it up. You're sitting on the back of a tailgate, right?
It's not even a tailgate; it's a hatchback.
Oh, it's a hatchback. Okay, never mind.
Y'all didn't have chairs?
No chairs.
All right, so this is one step below our SmackDown tailgate. At least we had chairs.
Yeah.
So I believe that Tolbert. Let me set the scene for you guys. It was hot as hail.
Yeah, it was about 97 degrees when we got there.
It was cooking in Charlotte. Fat boys, all of us were steaming. Tolbert, how many ambulances did we see go into the parking lot?
When we arrived, right, and we got some good parking space too, so we were right up front. When we arrived, there was already an ambulance there assisting someone that had passed out in line. They get them cleared. We're having a few beers. About an hour later, 2 more ambulances come in a fire truck to get someone that had passed out on the other side of the line. Some of these fans don't get outside much, and the almost 100-degree heat was a little much for them.
Lots of gurneys, and it wasn't. It wasn't from a wrestling angle. The angle was that these people did not know how to hydrate. These people were probably overweight. I'm just saying probably because wrestling fans are thick, and it was just a. It was a mass casualty event at that point. Yes, Cookie.
Aaron, I just want to know, is there a comparison between the GCW crowd and the quarantine crowd?
So I don't think, we're in Charlotte. It is a area in North Carolina. I'm sure. I think it leans blue because it's a major metropolitan area, but then you start getting the counties outside of it, the more rural areas in North Carolina, more red. And I do believe that probably the vaccination rate of this event was 3. Not 3%. No, 4. Excuse me.
4, because we were
not 4%, but the 4 people that were in attendance.
You guys just had your own little bubble.
Yeah. We just linked arms together, trying to form a dome.
We're gonna beat COVID together. Us 4 are gonna stop the spread.
But
the GCW people were very, very vocal. When we walked up, we just start hearing MDK. MDK, MDK. And we look around, it is Nick Gage fans all over the place. MDK all effing day. That's all we heard in the parking lot.
Oh, yeah. And Matt Hardy did make an appearance to cut a promo.
In the parking lot.
Yeah, nice.
in the parking lot, got the crowd all hyped up and got them excited. We had a good time tailgating. The sun finally went down a little bit. We got a cool little breeze. We start to go into the arena thinking, hey, we're going to get some relief from this heat. Apparently, someone forgot to turn on the AC at the Bojangles Coliseum.
It was the hottest, stinkiest arena ever. We walk inside this arena. It was the same temperature as outside.
Just about.
It was atrocious.
And all of those people who notoriously don't shower as regularly as they should and have poor hygiene in general had been standing outside in line.
Correct. It was atrocious. But other things that happened in the parking lot. We were hanging out. Some random guy walks by.
Oh, dude, I forgot all about this story.
Some random guy walks by, looks at our group, specifically Tolbert, and says, "Hey, man, got any weed?"
No, that's not what he asked for. He said, "Hey, do you have a smoke?" And we all looked at him and said, "No, bro, we don't smoke." And he goes, "I'll take anything." That's what he said.
I think we understood at that point. Tolbert said, "Yeah, bro, I'll get you some." Hands him a delightfully rolled J, and the guy stood and hung out with us for a little bit. Ended up buying a T-shirt from us.
Nice.
The only T-shirt sold.
I'm disappointed in you for not hawking your wares the way you thought you would.
So I'm a big talker. I'm not somebody that's going to go out there and say, "T-shirts here, get your T-shirts, Dory Funk, huh? If you want Dory Funk, here you go." I'm not that kind of person. And Travis thinks that he's that kind of person, but then he just tries to go through me. He's like coming up with all these things to say. I'm like, "Travis, why don't you say it yourself?" And he's like, "I ain't doing that." And then I'm like, "Well, I'm not doing it either, Travis." And then it becomes this issue of us like not wanting to hawk our wares, and I'm doing it out of principle.
You're sitting on a lot of merch now, Aaron. That was your prime time opportunity to try to sell a Dory Funk shirt.
We did, however, I got a call from somebody that is on the AEW roster. I met up with security, the AEW security, big dude. We were able to deliver the goods to him. He got a nice 4-pack of delicious Mad Mole beer and a shirt for each of the members of that tag team. Phenomenal. He then wore that shirt on social media the next day. So I believe we thought, like Travis was like, "What if he wears it on the television?" I'm like, I'm pretty sure he's going to have a costume or a gimmick to have to wear instead of our Dory Funk shirt. So that is the end of the parking lot saga. We then go inside. It's hot as hell, packed in there like rats.
Varnam was very nervous. Varnam was
I was
very,
not
very
nervous.
Your leg.
We will get there.
5 rows behind me could feel your leg bouncing.
We will get there. we got to take it step by step, Tolbert, because we have to fill a podcast. We can't blow our load in the beginning. So we're going a step by step. So we get in there. We try to kind of like get our bearings. It is a big arena. It's not the biggest arena. I'd say it's probably the same size as Fayetteville, don't you think? Like
it's about the same size as Crown Coliseum, where me and Mike saw SmackDown. Yeah.
So we get in there, we find our seats. Beautiful. We were in the upper deck area, but we had great view. If Tolbert would like to describe that.
It was phenomenal. The way they have it set up, it is a smaller arena, so no matter where you're sitting, you get a really good view of the ring. And I've sat in the floor seats. Me and Mike sat in floor seats when we went to SmackDown. Future shows, I'll definitely get higher up seats, man, because you can see all the action. You got a whole view of everything, and we were adjacent to the ramp, so we got to see the pyro and the screens and everyone come down the ramp for their entrance. I have to say, indoor pyro, badass, love it.
Ended up being a very good view. I believe we got in there probably about 6:30. At 7:00, dark starts, and we get to kind of start seeing some of the earlier dark matches. Dark Elevation started at 7 because after it went Dark Elevation, then Dynamite, and then they filmed the 100th episode of Dark afterwards, which we did not stay for. It was just too hot. It was too hot.
And by that time, you've already watched like 4 hours of wrestling, and they're like, "Oh, we've got 5 more matches for you." But the elevation was badass. We got to saw Sting and Darby. We got to see Darby do his famous coffin drop. In another series of squash matches, got to see some Thunder Rosa, which I love, man.
She was on the main card.
Was she on the main card? She was
Yes.
on the main card. Sorry. That was a mid-card match. But anyway, we got to see some good talent on the female roster for Dark as well. Some great fun matches.
So this leads up to Dynamite. And Mike, can you tell us about the saga of you trying to watch Dynamite?
All right. So, I mean, we talked about it last week where the one place I thought I was going to be able to go was closed on Wednesdays.
And this was the bowling alley?
The bowling alley was going to be my go-to, but they're closed on Wednesday. So there is a sports bar in Rangeley, Maine, a singular. And so I called them early on because I want to make sure that they would be able to put it on. And the lady seemed annoyed and confused about somebody wanting. She's like, "Well, what is it?" I said, "Well, it's on TNT. Do y'all have TNT?" And she goes, "Well, what is it?" I go, "It's professional wrestling." And she goes, "Oh, yeah, we could probably put it on if you ask." So we get there.
We're too busy. We really are big Simone Biles fans, and we just want to watch her win the gold.
Well, we get there. I get there early because I don't know how busy it's going to be, what the locations of the TVs and tables. Anyway, we find a table. We're by a TV. Track the lady down and say, "Hey, can you turn on TNT?" Well, she turns on. It's satellite, so it turns out they have TNT East and TNT West. And then we didn't really realize it until she put it on, and we're like, man, this is Geostorm. I thought it was the other.
Why do they always have Geostorm on?
Well,
what is the deal with Geostorm?
It was Geostorm, and I was like, I thought it was the other movie with this guy, and with the Law Abiding Citizen. I thought it was supposed to be Law Abiding Citizen, and because I pulled up the TNT app and I see that she put it on the West Coast, not the East Coast. So I got to go find this lady again. She seems really annoyed because it took a long time for them to get it on. So we're pushing the 8 o'clock timeline here, and I'm getting a little worried and confused.
You're an out-of-towner telling her what to do.
I'm just some fucking townie just asking for this, what seemed like, not that they had like 12 TVs, but little did I know that one box changed 4 channels, which didn't end up being that big of a deal. But she did change it again. And you're turning off like a Red Sox game or Yankees game, some bullshit Northeast baseball team nobody gives a crap about.
You're in the Northeast, though.
It doesn't matter. And so we get Dynamite on. Unfortunately, we do not get sound. And then we're like, we could probably ask them to put it on.
No,
stop it. And I was like, yeah, you know what? It's all right. We'll just watch the wrestling. And that was the beginning of it. And then we had 1 or 2 more issues along the way, but we can get to it as you walk through your matches.
All right. So the first matchup of that evening was the Dark Order against the Elite. Tolbert set the stage.
So 10-man tag match to start us off. And the Elite come out in a full Toon Squad regalia. They decided to run with this theme because I guess the new Space Jam is out. While they're setting up this match, we see that the ring crew is bringing out a portable basketball goal, and we're all confused. We're like, what the hell is this? So they come out full, like, I don't know. They did like a dribble routine at the top of the ramp, like a choreographed routine.
It was perfect healing it up.
Yeah.
Like just stupid, cheesy, annoying.
So yeah, the crowd they did get a little bit of heat from that, everyone.
But also when they saw that awful routine, everybody in the bar in Maine was like, "Man, that's some good looking basketball,
some fancy balling."
No, not quite. That we do get to a point close to that later on in the AEW episode.
What do you like? Are you teasing something right now?
I mean, it's like a big pop, but yeah, it's pretty fun.
So speaking of pops, though, their opponents, Dark Order, come out. Hangman Page comes out, dude. Huge pop, dude. We just get Hangman or cowboy shit chants, dude, throughout the whole arena. That dude was so over.
So I didn't have sound, but just watching the intro, watching the video package without sound, it's still like I was like, yeah, man, this is pretty fucking cool.
I will tell you, the Charlotte crowd. Cookie, you did have sound, correct?
I did have sound.
Were you able to kind of hear some of the things, like how hot the crowd was?
Absolutely, especially during Hangman Page's entrance.
Yeah, dude, they went wild for Hangman.
That cowboy shit chant was just so loud and throughout the arena. And as a wrestling fan, I get into matches and I like observing matches. I'm not the kind of person that's like, oh God. I sit back and kind of relax and kind of just watch stuff, or maybe not relax because my anxiety was through the roof, which we can talk about. My knees were moving the whole time, especially during the FTR match. And we'll talk about that in a second. But it was a very loud and hot crowd. This crowd, the arena had to be 90 degrees. It was a hot, hot place. And then everybody screaming as well led to like kind of a fun and energetic environment. The match itself, about 35 minutes.
Went forever.
A little bit long for my likings, probably a lot big long. I would say you could probably cut 20 minutes off that match and it'd be fine.
I was sitting at the bar with my dad and my cousin's boyfriend, who is actually a lapsed ECW fan.
Really?
From the 2000s.
How old is this guy?
40, 39.
Okay. Oh yeah, that makes sense.
But he hadn't watched professional wrestling. But when he found out I was going to the bar to watch them, he was like, "Yeah, I'll go." So I'm giving my dad and him like the whole run, like the whole storyline throughout the whole episode. I'm like, all right, so this is Hangman Page, and he had the red thing, and he had this down, he had some really self-esteem issues, and he's an alcoholic. Just like trying to, then I go through the whole Dark Order saga with Brody Lee thing, and
my God,
they're just trying to build each other up, and it was just, and they're just like laughing at me. I'm like, yeah, but like it's cool because this storyline's been going on for like 18 months now. And so, and I'm like, if he wins, it's going to be a really big deal. And if he loses, it's just
going to kill his character.
That's act 2, man. We're going to go to act 3 and see how long this fucking goes. But
so 35 minutes we're watching this match. I was exhausted after 10 minutes of this match. And I'm just kind of like, at that point, I kind of go into mode of just checking out. So I kind of checked out 10 minutes into this match, and I was just like waiting for it to end. How did it come across on TV? Cookie, were you like with the whole presentation? Was it interesting? Was it good? Were you tired by the end of it?
Oh, dude. I mean, we went through at least 3 or 4 commercial breaks. So it was just exhausting. Yeah. I was just like, is this match ever going to end? And how is it going to end? It was a lot. It was a little too much.
I was telling Tolbert that I felt that this matchup kind of wore out the crowd. And I think that if I were to book this match, I would put this at the end of the show. But before the main event that happened.
Yeah, it was, I mean, even just watching it on TV, it got tedious. 5-man elimination. Because like you don't know the finish, but you know how what's going to lead up to the finish. You're like, all right, it's going to be Kenny and the Bucks and versus Adam Page, and like whatever's going to happen is going to happen. So I agree with you. Like you could have gotten it going a little bit longer. Probably could have been like a 3 or 4-man versus a 5-man. It also, burned us out.
We were
just sitting there watching. My dad's just like, okay, it's like,
wrap it up, boys.
How long is this going?
And I felt like that. And the whole time I'm just like, all right, just let's get to the finish. So here it is. Adam Page going against 3 guys. It's this big like moment for him. And he gets V-triggered and it's the end of the match.
Did he get a one-wing angel too?
He gets
so like we're going, I'm like, all right, we're gonna see. And he hits that the not pile driver, but what's the one where he's behind him? What did he hit Kenny with?
I was so checked out.
Anyway, so he hits his move and gets the 2 count.
Oh, the dead eye.
That's
the dead eye.
He hits the dead eye, and we're like, oh man. I was like, guys, I don't know if I don't know what's gonna happen. And then Kenny hits the B trigger and puts him up in the one-wing angel. I'm like, fuck, he's done. And they're like, what? I was like, because nobody kicks out of the one-wing angel.
This is part of the lore.
Only one. I said, but when he does. When he wins this title belt, he will kick out of the one-wing angel and the fucking place will melt. Like literally take down the house.
I feel like if you wanted that crowd to remain hot the rest of the night, you let Adam Page win it, right? At that point, once that 1, 2, 3 hit and the
silent
one, the entire arena just blew their wad. Like it was so quiet for the Ricky Starks segment. And then, unfortunately, that led into the match I was most excited about for the night, FTR against Proud and Powerful, a match that they had been building up for weeks. in months, this matchup between these two awesome tag teams to get this opportunity to go one-on-one and then possibly whoever's going to be the number one contender. So this matchup, I'm sitting there, and this is like the height of my anxiety because I am emotionally invested in FTR, and I feel that they are one of the best tag teams in the world. I'm friends with the guys, and I feel that this could be another big moment for them. The crowd dead. Two Carolina boys. The crowd was just exhausted at that point, but it ended up being a pretty good match for the first 10 minutes.
I didn't get to see any of it.
Why not?
I watched the very beginning, and I'm explaining the whole thing, and then TV goes black.
Apparently, they had broadcasting issues on TNT.
Yeah, so TV goes black, and all you see is this little white square, and I'm like, motherfucker. Of course. I feel like every time I'm trying to watch an FTR match, because they don't wrestle every week, so every time they're trying to, TNT shits the bed somehow.
It's the Bucks. It's the Bucks backstage and saying nobody outshines us and pulls the plug.
And so I'm just like complaining, and the guy, like the one bartender, comes over. He's like, "Hey man, like it's not us. It's T." I'm like, I know it's the. Trust me, I'm on the fucking internet finding out like what the fuck's going on. I did eventually get it onto their Wi-Fi and pull up the TNT app had the match. So I was like, I tried to watch a little bit, but it is also Rangeley Main, and so it was like real fuzzy. I didn't get to see much of it.
Cookie, did the quietness of the crowd kind of come across at the beginning of this?
Yeah, I was watching it with Diane and Chase, and they were like kind of zoned out of it because they were exhausted. They were exhausted from the first match.
And that's how we felt too. And Tolbert and I are sitting there very excited about this matchup. We're the only people cheering for
Yeah,
FTR.
we were yelling, hollering, booing, doing what we're supposed to do. And it started off good, and the crowd started to get into it a little bit. But once they got any momentum with the crowd, you see Cash take an awkward bump in the corner. And he kind of loses his footing, and he goes into the turnbuckle pretty hard, and you see him grab his arm. And I turn to Aaron, I go, he's cut.
And at that point, I'm watching the other side of the ring because some other like gaga was happening on the other side of the ring. And I turn my eyes, and all I see is Cash holding his arm and running out of the ring. And I know once I saw him go from the turnbuckle straight to the doctor, I'm like, fuck, something really happened.
Yeah, so for me, TV comes back right as the Cash makes the tag. So I missed the corner spot, but like I see Dax getting in, and I see him like, hit the suplex, roll up, brainbuster, and it's done. I'm like, oh shit, I missed the whole damn thing. I look at my watch, I was like, it seems kind of quick. I feel like they would have went longer. And then they zoom in on Cash, and he's like blood everywhere. I'm like, holy fuck, what happened?
Yeah. So I get a text message from Dax's wife at that point, says, oh my God, Dan's arm was squirting blood. And I'm like, what? And Tolbert's like, yeah, dude, look. And you could see a trail of blood following from the turnbuckle hook. Yeah. Apparently his arm got caught on the turnbuckle, the hook, and it ripped his arm, and then just a trail of blood.
Someone, a ring crew guy got fired that night.
Yeah.
It was absolutely atrocious, and that even more kind of just I was just done at that point because it was like this match that I built up in my head. I was so excited for, and then but
that brainbuster was pretty sweet though.
Yeah, I mean,
did hit it.
Dax was able to call it on the fly.
So I was telling John and my dad, I'm like, look, that wasn't supposed to. I don't know if that's the way it was supposed to be booked, and but that wasn't how it was supposed to happen. I can guarantee you that. And for Dax to be able to just call it in the ring, like suplex, roll up, brainbuster, like what's what we're gonna do, and just boom, 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 get it done, and then he immediately runs out of the ring, and goes checks on Cash. It was pretty cool.
It was one of those moments where I could kind of see he was shook. Dax was a little bit shook going out to the ring, and it took them a while to kind of clean up the blood. Like there was blood everywhere.
Yeah.
It was a deflating moment.
Well, they immediately cut to the Britt Baker thing, and I'm telling them, I don't know if this is it said recorded earlier. I was like, I don't know if this was actually recorded earlier or if they're just doing a live like promo cut just to fill time, because that match probably was supposed to go another 6 minutes
at least. And like an FTR match is one of those matches where it starts off a little bit slow and then it starts picking up and then it starts picking up. And then finally, like the last 6 minutes, the part that was cut out of this match is where things get red hot and then everybody kind of buys into it. So it was a tough moment to kind of to experience in the crowd. The crowd never fully bought into this matchup. Did they talk about it on commentary, Cookie?
Not at all. You're talking about the cut?
Yeah.
They didn't really say much about it.
They didn't say. That's wild to me. Like
they kind of no-showed it, no-sold it, honestly. They were just like, something happened.
But honestly, from the time he got cut to the time the match was over, it was probably 40 seconds.
Yeah.
Like, it was quick.
It was very quick.
Because it was as soon as my cable came back on, it was like boom, 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 done. I'm like, what the fuck just happened?
So after that, I believe it was the Lance Archer match. Is that correct?
Yep, Lance Archer came out next.
Well, not bad.
It was kind of cool to see the Bullet Club entrance happen, and we got to see Cookie's favorite Haiku come out.
Yeah, and that did pump up the crowd a little bit. Lance Archer's entrance definitely pumps up the crowd because you get the 5, 4, 3, and then like everybody fucking dies, and the pyro goes off, and that's a good entrance.
Huge though.
The guy that he went against,
6'10",
was like half a foot taller than him.
That's why I was like, this guy's 6'8". That guy's way taller than he is.
Cookie, did what you got?
I was totally marking out for Haku because I want to let you guys know I was telling Chase and Diane stories about Haku.
He ripped the man's eye out.
He ripped the man's eye out. Dude. The whole everything, man. The nose ripping from his nose off. Ugh.
Dude, he looked like he could still go. He was doing that dance. I was like, damn, man, he might just get in there and start fucking some dude up.
He did the kick at the top of the ramp. He's like, he does a kick. I'm like, fuck yeah, dude. Come on, let's go.
And at that point, I was also I was struggling. I was texting back and forth with Dax's wife, like, is he okay and stuff, and like trying to kind of figure things out. And I was kind of half-ass watching this match, but it ended up being like it's an ugly match, but it was something that got the crowd back into it. They were able to kind of move forward from that. I believe there was the Hardys family against.
That was.
Jungle Boy and
Jungle Boy, Dinosaur Jr. and Christian Cage.
Yeah.
So I will tell you, the crowd loves all three of those competitors.
I love Jungle Boy. Jesus Christ.
All the panties got thrown in the ring for Jungle Boy when he came out. All the women. Dinosaur Jr. I hear did you hear the guys behind us, Tolbert, that were like, man, that Luchasaurus, man, they're holding them back, man, in AEW, man. And I'm like, yeah, all right,
you had some straight up smarks behind us the whole show. It was.
They're between their coughs, because they were coughing rather frequently, and I'm feeling it like on the back of my neck. They were talking all the things that like it is the full like Smart Mark script that you're going through. They're like, I don't think the guy's work rate is that good, but I think that Luchasaurus is therefore. And I'm like,
was Travis drunk and mocking them at that point?
Travis was hammered by probably the first match.
Holy hell.
And Travis, if you have ever been to an event with Travis goes at it. He was screaming the whole time. And
that's what you're supposed to do it, though. I mean, that's what right. That's what I would have been doing.
Exactly. And it was I no qualms about it. So I'm between Travis on one side, screaming his head off, and then Tolbert on the other side. And then Byron, unfortunately, got one of the end seats. But it was a fun experience going. Travis, who was a quiet person, if you know him in real life, was not quiet from about 8 o'clock until we went to bed. Travis wouldn't shut up at that point. So we watched that match. I think Thunder Rosa and
Thunder Rosa
and the girl from Varsity Blondes. Thunder Rosa is over.
Dude, yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah,
really.
People
great.
love Thunder Rosa. She had probably the second or third biggest pop of the night. People love Thunder Rosa.
And she's a great performer. Jesus Christ. She looks great in the ring.
She does.
At one point, she kicked the girl in the chest, like towards the end of the match. And I'm like, Jesus Christ. You can see that girl was like holding it. And like,
isn't that like Bret Hart's granddaughter or something?
No, she's not related.
Julie Hart?
She's not related.
Sure?
Yeah,
right.
I've looked it up.
Okay.
I think she's like 19 years old from like Atlanta or something.
She looks young. She
looks very young. After that matchup, commercial break. We did. Miro was huge.
Oh my God, dude, that promo. So I did have to go back and watch, and I had to wait till I was driving home so I could actually have internet and 4G to like watch all the video packages and things. That Miro one though, man.
It was great, but dude, the crowd popped so hard for it.
His whole gimmick right now, so hot.
Miro came out during Dark Elevation, correct?
Yes.
And it was after there was a local competitor against one of the guys, and Miro officially challenged, like let this guy challenge for the belt next week or something. But Miro over huge.
No, he essentially said that nobody's willing to challenge for it, so I'm going to pick my next opponent. And he just like, hey, brother, come on, you gonna get your ass whooped.
Pretty awesome. So Miro was great. And then Judas happened. Tolbert, for your high spot of the week, yes. I would like for you to walk us through with our asides in this. MDK all effing day, Nick effing Gage against Chris Jericho.
So we knew this match was going to happen. It was kind of, it was looming. You could say it was looming the whole time. You could feel it in the air that this match was coming, and this was what everyone was waiting for, especially the MDK crew. They were
Cookie just put on a bandana across his face. Not an MDK bandana, but one that he was conned out of by purchasing a Hooters bandana. Some girl like rubbed him and said, "Yeah, you're just so cute, Cookie. Your name's Cookie. I love cookies, but I'm keto right now. For my, would you want to buy if I don't sell enough bandanas,
spend $20 too much on it?
They kill me. They literally take us out back and
Hooters
kill us.
Girls are like girls who didn't want to be strippers but still have that in them because that's all they do.
They just take your money, and Cookie paid for it. Cookie wearing the bandana, much like Tolbert's new favorite wrestler, Nick effing Gage.
Effing Gage. So MDK showed up in numbers for this, which I knew they would, but I was a little surprised about how many of them there were. A lot of MDK signs in the crowd. I even saw one guy that had an MDK sold out sign, but he paid for a ringside seat. So I didn't get that. I didn't get that math at all. Yeah. But yes, a lot of Nick Gage chants. This is a network television, so you had to say Nick freaking Gage. But when he came out, the whole crowd definitely went Nick fucking Gage. Could you hear that on TNT, Cookie?
Yes, I could hear that.
Yeah. Okay. So
I was hyped.
Yeah, Cookie, everyone was hyped.
Cookie, can you explain to people if they are not familiar with Nick effing Gage? Cookie, can you give me a brief overview of Nick Gage for us?
Oh man, Nick Gage. You want to talk about hardcore? I think he's like the last remnants of just that 90s grunge ECW, just like balls to the wall. And you can tell he lives the gimmick. Like I'm talking about, his mouth is just he's missing like several teeth. He looks like he just does hardcore things. And one of the biggest hardcore things he does is drink PBR. He's a big pet.
No.
He's Cookie, not. If you're gonna get in the social media game, you gotta get where it was started. So Nick, how did it go now?
So Nick Gage PBR had been mentioning Nick Gage.
Yeah, that's right.
And then Nick Gage released a statement. Said, not really a statement because he's a fucking idiot. He's the dumbest man I know.
He essentially tweeted and said that, hey, if you're gonna keep name, if you're gonna put my name in your mouth, you might as well pay me and be a sponsor. Da 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 da, and then he basically said, "PBR is shitty beer. I drink I drink Natty Ice. And then PBR's Twitter account comes back, like official PBR Twitter account responds and says, you would drink fucking Natty Ice.
No, he says, of fucking course you would.
Yeah, fucking course you drink Natty Ice.
Yeah.
My God. I fucking love PBR. I actually had a PBR last night because I wanted to support their efforts.
Thank you.
That's another level of hardcore right there, but boys.
This man's a maniac. He robbed a bank with no mask on.
By the way, I'm sitting there in this bar explaining this to my dad and John. I'm like, all right, John, you know who Chris Jericho is. That's cool. Dad, he's like a real famous wrestler. Nick Gage, though. Yeah. So I explained the whole hardcore wrestler thing. I explained the whole robbed a bank without a mask, even though he always wears a mask.
Him getting out of jail and then going back to jail.
I explained that he once had to get life flighted out of a field that a hardcore wrestling match was in. And then what did I also was like, hey man, you remember when David Arquette was wrestling, got stabbed in the neck? It was that guy. I was actually thinking about that. All right. I'm like, I said, this is not going to be good wrestling. This is visually going to be disturbing. I'm not a big fan of this, but let's see what happens.
Yeah. So this is the first time hardcore wrestling is kind of broken into the mainstream.
Deathmatch wrestling.
Deathmatch wrestling. Yeah, we've had hardcore, but yeah, straight up deathmatch wrestling. This is a pretty big event. This is a pretty big deal for the deathmatch crowd. But we go right into it. We know this isn't going to be pretty. Actually turned out a lot better than I thought as far as like the match itself. Nick Gage is famous for one thing, and that's his pizza cutter. He loves his pizza cutter. I don't know if he used to work in a pizza restaurant or what. Maybe he was born in one.
You can look in his eyes and tell that he used to.
He got fired as the delivery guy.
Oh, I'm
pizza
sure.
place. I guarantee it.
So we start off, and of course he's got it in hand, in tow, and he goes right to it, man. I think within a few minutes, like Jericho's already bleeding. He's getting pizza cutter to the forehead.
Well, Jericho got sliced on the arm first.
That's
the first blood drawn.
It was. He kind of swiped it at him like a knife fight.
He got hard weight. That's for sure. Like,
yeah, that thing was sharp, dude. You know he's sharp as that fucking pizza cutter.
Cookie, are you about to take a piss?
No, Aaron. My charger's, my laptop's about to die, and I'm in my bathroom / closet. So here we are. Because the podcast is at 8 a.m. this morning, and everyone's asleep in my house. Ooh. So there you go.
We'll continue.
But yeah, so we get blood pretty early on. Jericho is taking pizza cutters to the forehead, dude. Gage finally pulls out some light tubes, and the crowd goes wild for it, especially the MDK crowd. Dude, we're like, no way Jericho is going to take a light tube to the head. There's no way. He's just not going to do it. That's not his thing. That's not his bag. Well, within 10 minutes, we see Jericho taking a fucking light tube to the head, right over top. He actually takes two. He takes one across the back, one over the head. Gage is also famous for taking shards of light tube and just grinding it to the forehead and doing the stabby thing, the really quick stabby thing. We see Jericho take that as well. He does get his offense in as well. I mean, Nick Gage is definitely taking a beating too. At some point, we see a pane of glass emerge from under the ring. We're like, holy shit, man, what is going on? This pane of glass is set up on two chairs by the turnbuckle, and it sits there for a while. They're teasing it, man. We also see some of the famous deathmatch light tubes taped together. So you got four fluorescent light tubes taped together. We get a couple of those come out. They start teasing those. We're like, holy shit, man, what is happening? So we get towards the finish. We see Jericho do a Hurricane Rana. Nick Gage off the top rope, puts Gage through the glass. Jericho actually lands on his head from this Hurricane Rana. It was pretty nasty, dude.
I don't know if that was Jericho or Gage that fucked that up a little bit. But that was pretty gross.
When Gage goes through that pane glass, this was about the third holy shit chant for the night, but everyone got into that.
Mike, sitting in a bar with your father who has only watched professional wrestling in maybe the 60s, 70s, maybe a little bit in the 80s, What was your father's reaction to what was going on in the ring?
We were talking about it. I said, like, this is not what I like to watch. Like, so this is gonna be
Dad,
good.
I'm not that guy. I'm not gonna shoot up the school.
And he's like, he basically is like, this is a little graphic, but I will say, so during this match, the bars kind of, when we first got there was people eating dinner and that sort of stuff. Kitchen closes early. Now it's just people sitting at the bar drinking. This is where I found out that not only was the wrestling on 2 TVs, it was on 4 TVs.
All 4 TVs.
Not all 4. I mean, there's probably 12, but there was like the one in the corner where we were at. There was one on the far wall where John was kind of watching it. And then there was about 8 TVs that lined the bar. And there's 2 TVs with wrestling on in the center. And I didn't know this at first. And we're sitting there, and about the time Jericho pulls or Gage starts to pull the pane of glass out, somebody goes, "Oh my God, I didn't know they put something along the lines of I didn't know they put wrestling, or I wasn't expecting to see wrestling on TV like tonight," and like so the crowd's getting kind of into it at the bar, and he sets the thing up. Jericho hits the Hurricane Rana. Guy goes through the glass, and everybody's like, "Oh!" So like people at the bar are watching this fucking match, and I think they were pretty into it. It's because for the finish, I won't spoil. I'll let Tolbert talk to the finish. But at the finish, everybody's just like, "Oh!" It was really cool. I'm like, deathmatch wrestling. Something else, but I'm glad.
It's a spectacle.
I'm glad y'all got to watch some AEW at the bar.
Cookie, was your household very much the same way?
Absolutely. I was screaming at the top of my lungs with every spot, and Diane was just like covering her eyes because she didn't want to see her favorite Chris Jericho die in the ring because of Nick freaking Gage. She hates Nick Gage.
Oh, so do I. So
a lot of people do.
I also say that huge pop from our table when Gage does the second or third pizza cutter spot, and they immediately cut to the Domino's commercial.
So you guys actually saw that live?
Oh my God, we lost our shit immediately. It was so funny.
So you did see that live?
I did see that live.
You did notice it?
Yes.
Absolutely, so fucking funny.
So I didn't know. We didn't know that was a thing until afterwards. Like when we got home, we're like, "What is Domino's trending for in the universe?" And we kind of found out about it, and it's very funny. Jasmine said that she noticed it, and she was just shocked by this matchup. She had to hold Terry's little eyes so he didn't see Chris Jericho almost die in this matchup. Tolbert, you can finish up.
Oh, so, at this point, we've seen Jericho put Gage to the pane glass. We've seen Jericho take light tubes. He's gotten pizza cuttered. He's, beat up on Gage a little bit. So we're getting towards the end. And they've been teasing these taped together light tubes the whole time. So the finisher, leading up to the finish, Jericho kind of wiggles his way, a little defense, grabs the light tubes that are taped together, bashes them over the top of Nick Gage's head. All 4 of them just shatter over top of his head. He has some a little Muda mist up his sleeve as well. In fact, I got ahead of myself. He hits Gage with the Muda mist, which I did not realize until I watched the actual taping of it when I got home. Hits him with the mist, hits him with the light tubes, then hits the Judas effect, putting him down for the 1, 2, 3. When he hit him with the light tubes, dude, the whole crowd started in on the holy shit chant. I'm not much of a holy shit chant guy, but me, Byron, and everybody got into that holy shit chant, man. The crowd was going wild.
Yes, Cookie.
What was the craziest spot? Where did the crowd go like, oh my fucking God? Like
the pane of glass, I think.
Yeah, the pane of glass was insane. And it echoed through the building. They have the ring mic'd a little bit, not as much as WWE does, but the sound of that glass shattering and him hitting the mat just echoed through the whole building, dude. Because the crowd, he's got Gage on the top turnbuckle. He's either setting up for a suplex or what. The crowd kind of gets a little quiet because they have no idea what's coming. Then you see him hit the Hurricane Rana. Oh, it was awesome, dude. I definitely popped for that match. Yeah, I got completely into it. I marked the fuck out for that match.
Same.
But it was great. It was great.
You have written a haiku for this matchup?
Yeah, I have. All right, here we go. You guys want pizza? Jericho gone went mud show. we went, holy shit.
And that's exactly how it happened. After the show, we sat around for a little bit of dark. We maybe watched one match, and then we're kind of like, it's 100 degrees in this arena. It's time to go. Let's head out. We're got some starving food. Yeah. Say what?
We were all starving. Yeah. So, I have to tell the story as well. So you remember our bartender from Wednesday night after we got out of the match, right, Aaron?
Yeah.
Had a lovely conversation. She got us some late night food. She told us she was coming to Wilmington to see Grizz after we conversed with her a little bit. I'm slinging beers and drinks last night, and I look up, and there she is sitting at the bar. Oh. I was like, oh, hey, gave her a high five. She remembered us, you know. She was tripping balls, but she admitted and was mad that the Grizz show got canceled, but she loved the bar, man, and was a good customer. It was good talking to her and seeing her again.
Cool. So, yeah, we got to get some late night food. I will tell you one thing. Travis has a thing where when he starts sneezing, he does not stop sneezing for at least 25 to 30 sneezes. And I'm not exaggerating at all. We were leaving the bar. He started sneezing. We were walking down the street. He did not stop sneezing until we got into the next bar and had ordered a drink.
Jesus.
It was the most insane thing I'd ever seen in my life. I'm like, oh my God, this is incredible.
How was your anxiety at that time?
Oh, it was through the roof. I'm like, stop sneezing. Stop. He's like, I can't help it, man. I can't help it. And I'm like, what is wrong with you? Do you need an allergy pill? He just kept sneezing. It was insane. I loved it.
But yeah, we had a good night. We wrapped up. We hit up the Noted District, went to some bars, went to Sanctuary, which is a really cool bar. They were like, I think one of us went, oh, yeah, we just got back from the wrestling match. The bartender goes, yeah, fucking no. I was watching.
They said, no shit. And he pointed to all of us wearing professional wrestling T-shirts. And we're like, oh, yeah, you're right. Yeah.
And then Travis dropped his beer and we left.
Dropped it in the middle of the bar and just shattered. And everybody stopped and looked at us.
Yeah. And then I went home and I got in bed with Varnam.
Yeah. So I'm going to bed, right? I go to bed. Tolbert inflates an air mattress, right? He passes out first out of all of us, passes out on this air mattress. Shirtless, in rugby shorts, passed out. I've got my own bed. I go into my own bed. I take a cold shower because I was sticky and gross. I wanted to get that wrestling stink off me. And I shower. I go to bed. I fall asleep hard. I'm dehydrated. I feel like shit. I'm a little drunk. I took a couple shots of tequila at the bar.
Woo!
I wake up at 3 a.m. and it's one of those things where it's like, you don't know. I've got a little bit of a headache. I'm still dehydrated. I don't know what happened. I don't know where I'm at yet because it's that first second. Then I hear somebody snoring in my ear and I'm like, Jasmine? And I look and there's Tolbert just like basically naked, like aimed towards me in the bed. And I'm like, did that just happen? Or did we make love?
I got woke up.
Tolbert was passed out hard in the bed.
Yeah, I woke up. I was freezing cold. I needed a warm spot. And I'm looking around, man. I went and was like, fuck, I'm crawling to bed with Varnam.
I do not use a lot of sheets. I have one sheet. And then Tolbert was wrapped up like a burrito in the larger comforter in that bed. So
yeah, and then I also scooted next to Varnam a little bit for a little extra warmth. But
I will tell you, at multiple times throughout the night, I had to do what Jasmine does frequently and elbow a motherfucker in bed and say, flip over. You are snoring in my ear.
Tolbert, did you set the air mattress up on like a hardwood floor or something? Why were you so cold?
Well, I didn't have any blankets or anything. And,
oh my God.
It was so hot outside. It being an Airbnb, I think we put the thermostat on 69.
65. I turned it down to 65.
Jesus.
It was a fucking ice box in there, dude. I literally woke up shivering, like teeth chattering, shivering, and I was like, I gotta get warm.
Holy shit!
So I was his warmth that night.
Yeah.
So wrapping it up, we had a great trip. It was an interesting event. A lot of fun. We had our ups, we had our downs. We hope that Cash, or it's Cash Wheeler. I always call him Dash Cash. I don't know. We hope that he does better. He's doing better now. I think he's fine.
Yeah.
He texted me that night and he's like, man, I'm okay. Like, it was a freak accident. One of those things that happened. So we hope that he is doing better. Boys, I give it personally, I give it a 4 cookies for the whole experience. For the show, I give 4 cookies.
Trip overall, 5 cookies.
Overall experience of the trip, 5 cookies.
There you go.
Great. I have to say, after being at a WWE live event and AEW, if I had to choose AEW all day. Definitely more of a punk rock crowd. It was my scene, man. Definitely my scene.
Not a lot of mob shirts in the crowd, Aaron.
Not a lot of mob shirts in the crowd, but if you'd like a mob shirt,
hit us up on Instagram or Twitter at @$2 _.
Somebody did slide into our DMs this week.
We did, and we've already shipped off the shirt, Aaron.
I shipped it off to Iowa. It will be there.
Did you ever send what's his name? Those cards you were supposed to send?
Byron, I should have just handed them to him at that point. I
didn't think of
Byron,
that.
come. You know where I live at this point.
I couldn't remember if it was Byron or somebody else.
No, it was definitely Byron. Byron, come get your fucking cards. Come get your fucking cards, Byron.
I will say though, that guy sent Aaron that $25, and Aaron sent that shirt right out.
Yo, if you pay me, we're getting it done. So we sent them out. Yesterday, I got there at 11:50. It closes at noon. I didn't realize it closed at noon. I thought it closed at 2 on Saturdays. But the woman's like, Iowa, what you sending to Iowa? And I'm like, a T-shirt. And she's like, who's that on your T-shirt?
Oh, God.
Dory Funk. She's like, is he a wrestler? I'm like, yes, ma'am, he is a wrestler.
And an Asian.
He's a sex god. That's what he is.
What does it say on it? And I'm like, oh, it just says Dory Funk. I'm not going to tell this conservative woman who just wants to get out of the office and have to explain to her why he's a sex god in Japan. If you guys would like it, hit us up. Slide into our DMs. I'll send it out immediately. Venmo me and all that shit. So thank you for listening to another exciting edition of $2 Steak, a pro wrestling podcast. Next week, we will once again be talking about professional wrestling. We will have matches next week. It'll be back to normal. Always as a palate cleanser, we do a Terry Funk week. So I believe to get back into the swing of things, we might have to do a Terry Funk week. Is that okay? No, you know what? Fuck it. We're not doing a Terry Funk week next week.
Dory.
We will do a Dory Funk week next week. So on $2 Steak, a pro wrestling podcast, tune into one of the possibly most boring episodes that we will ever have.
The hardest working episode, though.
The hardest working episode.
This episode's going to get over in Japan, though.
I
can't wait for these obscure matches.
Does he have any high spot matches? Does he have any matches that are under 40 minutes and just rest hold after rest hold? We don't know. We're gonna find out next week on the Dory Funk edition of $2 Steak, a pro wrestling podcast.